Sports HQ on this Thanksgiving Eve, if you will. I'm Jacqueline D'Agostino, Katie Mox, Pete Prisco, Lee-J Douzable. Before we get into all the football talk, we are so thankful to work with you guys.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're thankful to work for you guys.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Mox got the pink on, you got the green. You almost in the Christmas.
We're giving Wicked. It's
We're giving
Wicked.
Wicked.
Yeah. We saw it. It was a fantastic movie, by the way.
Yes, go see it.
Somebody else who's very thankful, I think, is Daniel Jones, because he just went from 2-9 to 9-2. That big news coming down that he is going to the Vikings. He's going to be Sam Darnold's backup. Pete, I will start with you. What do you make of this move for Daniel Jones being, I mean, Sam Darnold's backup? It's kind of crazy when you think about it, but
super crazy.
Yeah. What is your thought on the whole situation?
Well, he wanted to go to a contender, so it made sense for him. And they need to have a good quality backup. This is a team that's pushing for a wild card and maybe even a division title. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. So why take a risk of having Sam Darnold go down when you don't have a quality backup? And he is certainly a quality backup. I don't think this is the long-term answer for him unless they're gonna get rid of Sam Darnold, who is a free agent, and then maybe he stays there and they competes with J.J. McCarthy. But bottom line is, for this season, it's a great opportunity for him to be the backup to Sam Darnold.
Yeah, Pete, I think it makes a lot of sense. I actually thought that he maybe go to the Raiders where he has the opportunity to actually play. But to me, this was all about Daniel Jones getting a reset, right? Because he's always had to be the guy, right? All the pressure on him. Now he comes into a scenario where Kevin O'Connell, I've heard, has an affinity for Daniel Jones. He saw the work that he did with Sam Darnold. He gets to sit behind Sam Darnold. And take your point, right? Nick Mullins is the backup. If they didn't feel comfortable with that, now they have a backup in Daniel Jones they feel comfortable with. And this is a scenario where you just sit back and watch reset. And then maybe next year he has the opportunity, whether it's to mentor J.J. McCarthy and be there if Sam Darnold leaves the free agency, or he gets to reset and go somewhere else. So to me, this was always about a reset. He's kind of taking the Sam Darnold page where Sam Darnold went to San Francisco, sat behind Brock Purdy for a year, had the opportunity with the Minnesota Vikings, took it and ran with it. I think that's what Daniel Jones is doing in this scenario.
So, Alicia, you say it's kind of a reset, so there is the opportunity that he could potentially be a starter elsewhere. Pete, do you view him as like a backup here on out, or do you think this could be a reset and he could be a legitimate starter in the league moving forward?
Well, I do think that there's going to be some opportunities where their starting jobs are open. Now, whether those teams are committed to a guy like Daniel Jones remains to be seen. I always said the best spot for him would be Miami. And the reason I say that, God forbid something else happens to Tua. We don't want that. He's playing great football. Nobody wants to see him not on the field. But they had a terrible plan for a backup. Tua, when he went down, it was awful the way they handled it, and it probably cost them a chance to be a playoff team. This would give them stability if they were able to do this. And some people say he's not a quick processor, which you need to be in that offense. I don't care. He's better than what they had as a backup. So I think I'm not sure he can be a starter again. Everybody thinks we've become trendy to say, oh, you go somewhere, you clean off your stink, and next thing you know, you're a starter again. Look what Baker Mayfield did.
I was going to say Baker did it.
Baker was good. Baker had a great rookie season. Then he hurt his shoulder. Baker was good. He was never not a good quarterback. That's the difference. Daniel Jones has never been a really good quarterback.
I think this will be a scenario where it is kind of like Sam Darnold, where he won't be given a starting job, but he'll have an opportunity to compete with it. And this is why I love the reset, because Kevin O'Connell has essentially been a quarterback whisperer. We saw what he did with Sam Darnold. Let's not forget, last year, 4 different quarterbacks, they were still in playoff contention because of what Kevin O'Connell does when it comes to making the game easy for quarterbacks. So I love this move for Daniel Jones, whether he ends up staying and mentoring J.J. McCarthy or he goes elsewhere where they maybe bring him in as a bridge quarterback and draft the guy in the first round, kind of like they did this year with Sam Darnold.
Here's one thing, though. If he had an opportunity to go play somewhere, and even if it wasn't for a contender, and he chose to be a backup for a contender, to me, I don't like that.
Okay.
I want to play.
I thought that he was going to the Raiders because he had an opportunity to actually play.
Yeah, I want to play. Look, it's great for team and all that, but I want to play football, and that would be a little bit concerning. There was never talk of the Raiders going to get him. But if there was an opportunity for him to play, and he turned it down to be a backup on a contender, I don't like that look at all.
This is the only thing, right? When you're him and you've been in so much dysfunction with the New York Giants, say you do go to the Raiders where there is even more dysfunction, could that really have put him behind the 8 ball in regards to maybe resurrecting his career? Maybe that's what he's thinking.
What if he doesn't play at all for the Vikings?
He probably won't play.
So wait, you're a clip holder? Here I am.
Well, Sam Darnold didn't play and he still got another opportunity the next year.
Yeah, but
that's what I'm saying. I think he just wanted to go for a reset and then next year reassess what the quarterback market is, see who needs a bridge quarterback, and I think this reset will help him do that.
If bridge quarterback, game manager, you know those words you usually use. If those are associated with you, you usually are what you are, okay?
Okay.
Sam Darnold has had a nice season and all, but let's, you get a feeling that Sam Darnold's going to be Sam Darnold again.
All right, well, the Vikings seem to be the place where wayward New York quarterbacks go to revive their careers. So let's maybe look at the other team in New York. Jets season is bad, just 3-8. Is Aaron Rodgers going to retire? Are they going to bring him back? Here is what Jeff Ulbrich had to say.
As long as he's healthy, my plan is to play him. And I know talking to him, that's the way he wants to do it too. Like, he is a very prideful person. He wants to finish this thing off right. He wants to celebrate this team that we have and have a good taste in our mouths as we lead the season.
All right, Leger, so I have to ask you, first of all, I don't know if you remember in the beginning of the season, there was one person that was on the under for the Jets season.
You were just hating on my Jets, Mark.
And we went toe-to-toe on
We ain't going to talk about your Niners right now, though.
I'm sure we will later in the program. But I got to ask you, should they shut this man down?
100% they should shut him down. Jeff Ulbrich, a lot of love and respect for him. And I get what you're saying. He's like, if he's healthy, he's going to play. Pete, he hasn't been healthy. That has been the issue. He's been a shell of himself when you talk about the health of Aaron Rodgers and being able to move in the pocket. You see it right here. He's just not as mobile as he used to be. And that's what made him special, Pete. When he was able to get outside the pocket and throw off platform, that's what really scared defenses. Well, Aaron Rodgers hasn't been able to do that this year. And yes, the Jets are coming off a bye. But again, Father Time is undefeated. He is 40 years old. You have to think he's still not 100% healthy right now. My thing is, I would sit Aaron Rodgers and put Tyrod Taylor in and make him the bridge quarterback. Most likely, the Jets are going to go draft a quarterback next year if they're high enough in the draft to get a guy that they actually like. Move on from Aaron Rodgers. This experiment went terribly wrong. It didn't work. It was probably one of the worst trades in NFL history in regards to having so much hype for the Jets being contenders this year. It hasn't worked out. Aaron Rodgers isn't healthy. Put Tyrod Taylor in the game because he could potentially be your bridge quarterback. I know Aaron Rodgers has already come out and said he doesn't know if he's going to retire or not next year. And if there is a place he would want to come back, it is the New York Jets. But who says the new regime wants Aaron Rodgers on this roster? So I think they should sit Aaron Rodgers and start Tyrod Taylor.
But here's the other part of the equation. Who's going to shut him down? There's nobody in that organization that can shut him down.
Who's in charge right now?
There's nobody in charge, and that's the problem. And so they can't tell him to shut him down. He has not been the same quarterback since he tore his Achilles tendon, period. And look, when you tear your Achilles tendon when you're 25, it's one thing. When you tear your Achilles tendon and you're 39, remember all that talk, oh, he's going to come back at the end of last year.
Yeah,
he hasn't come back this year. He hasn't been the same guy. But look, shutting him down, if he wants to play, he's healthy enough to play, you play him.
But he's not healthy.
He's healthy enough to take snaps, and they feel he's healthy enough to play. I play him. I wouldn't shut him down. There's nothing to shut him down for because you're not. If he's bad, maybe you'll get a better draft pick. He might be worse than Tyrod Taylor.
You take for the better draft pick.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers probably on the phone with the Vikings as we speak.
Maybe they can re-sign Sam Darnold since he's so good.
Oh my goodness.
That's actually not that crazy. All right, so let's talk about your team here. The Jags are got some good news. Trevor Lawrence back at practice this week. Head coach said they're not sure if he's going to play yet. They're going to wait to see how the week goes for Sunday versus Houston. What do you make of Doug's comments?
Well, I think there's a shoulder injury that's at play and probably needs to get surgery. And if it does, you hear there's a possibility he needs to get surgery. So if he needs to get surgery, get it. Shut him down. Here's why. Get the #1 overall pick.
Yeah.
These games mean nothing. And I always hear coaches, and I've argued with many of them over the years, well, things can carry over to the next year. You're an entirely different team. You're probably going to have a new head coach. And if you have a new head coach, that means he's going to be learning a new system. You want him healthy in April and May and June. You don't want him working on rehab. So I think if he has a shoulder injury to the point where he needs surgery, shut him down, get the surgery, get the #1 overall pick, don't care about these games, and get him ready for when Ben Johnson's the head coach.
One can only hope.
Yeah, if you're Trevor Lawrence, this is where you have a meeting with your agents, medical staff, right? You get a second opinion to see what the shoulder injury is like. Could there be further damage if you go out there and play with it? And if that's the case, I'm with Pete. Shut him down, right? In regards to this season being lost for the Jacksonville Jaguars, you already stated there's probably going to be a new head coach, most likely a new GM as well. You don't want to tank on the, you don't want to tank on the season. Essentially, the players in the locker room are still going to go out there and fight. But you just paid a boatload of money to this guy to be the franchise quarterback of the future. Why would you put him in harm's way if he's not truly healthy and the season is already lost? Just makes absolutely no sense, especially when you got Danielle Hunter on the other sideline. Again, you're not scared of anybody, but you're also smart as well. Why put your quarterback, your franchise quarterback, in harm's way if you don't need to?
He played through it last year, shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And
we saw what happened last year.
Yeah,
correct.
And he kept getting hurt. And so here's the other thing. I hear that part of him wants to try and play through because he doesn't want to send a message to his teammates that, you know, he shut it down. And I think the teammates ultimately would respect him more if he did take care of himself down the line. Because look, you mentioned it. It's a quarter
They cannot win without him.
It's $250 million in his pocket. And he has to be this long-term answer at quarterback.
Yeah, and it's not his fault. It's the play calling. We've seen that time and time again. It's interesting because some of our draft analysts have said if the Jags do get that #1 pick and they have the option to take Travis Hunter, they should trade that pick away.
They will trade that pick down again. They need big, and bigger. They need all kinds of big people. That's what they need. They don't need Travis Hunter.
I need Leger.
I would like Travis Hunter, but you know, it's a flashy move, whatever. That's why I'm not making the decisions. It is November, so of course there's a lot of weather that's going on in other parts of the country, and that's what we're probably going to see in Buffalo for your Niners as they visit Josh Allen and the Bills. Freezing temps, possible snow, winds that could exceed 20 miles per hour. Leger, I'll start with you. Do you have confidence in this Niners team that just cannot escape the injury bug?
By the way, I don't either.
Yo, Marcus gave me the straightest eye ever.
Side eye on the other side of the
Marcus gave me a real side. No. And you know, Mox, I got a lot of love for you, but again, this is a scenario where the 49ers have played with their food, right? And they usually can dig their way out of it. But me and Pete talked about this last week. The schedule was a gauntlet down the stretch, and it started last week in Lambeau versus Green Bay, where they just got embarrassed in that game. Now you get a Buffalo Bills team coming off the bye, one of the hottest teams in football. And you know what else? Matt Milano looks like he's practicing this week, so he could almost come off of IR as well. So their defense is going to get stronger this week. And we don't know the health of Brock Purdy. Supposedly he's light throwing. I don't even know what that means at this point of the year. So this is a scenario where the injury bug has just been too much for the San Francisco 49ers. They're getting the Buffalo Bills team at the absolute worst time.
Two things. What does play with your food mean? What do you mean by that?
When you play, you know, when you're a little kid, your mom says, stop playing with your food and eat it.
I just used to push aside. I'm not eating that. I'm not eating that.
I can see little Pete being like, can I
see so your mom said, you're going to eat this food and you're not getting
You're going to sit there until you eat it.
Exactly.
But the other thing is, I hope it's not snowing. Please, I hope it's not snowing. It ruins so many football games. It becomes a survival test. I can't stand it. But the 49ers have so many issues, whether it's snowing, sunny, hot, no matter where they play, they have so many issues. Injuries have decimated a team. When you pay stars, and they have a lot of stars, it's great to do because they can carry you. And when you're top heavy and they start getting hurt, you have major problems. That's what the 49ers are facing.
I don't even argue with anything that you guys are saying. I don't feel good about this game. And by the way, I will say, I did not feel good about this game even before the season because the 49ers had to cross through 2 different time zones, and this is just the worst time. Niners have a 17% chance to make the playoffs. Good start here, guys. We do have to take a quick break. And coming up, a little bit of Caleb Williams versus Jared Goff. Add that to your Thanksgiving plates. They both lead their teams going in different directions here. Leger and Pete are sticking around to break it all down next.